Bob Mason from FX Empire, and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, the days support resistance levels, and the Fibonacci's. It is Thursday, the 22nd of July. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against US dollar, relatively bullish start to the day. Going to see Bitcoin avoid the pivot at 31,509 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 33,495. We'll need plenty of support from the broader market. Breakout from yesterday's high, it was at 32,850 and moved back through to 33,000 levels. So barring an extended rally on the expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Bitcoin target 34,000 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 34,836. A fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 31,680 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub-30s. Second major support level sits at 28,182. Looking at the MACDs, we have a narrowing of the bullish histograms at the turn of the day, so look out for a possible bearish cross that would pin Bitcoin back early on. On the EMAs, the 50 has closed in on the 100, so we're looking for a possible bearish cross there to support further upside after yesterday's breakout. So key through the early part of the day, avoid the pivot at 31,509, break through yesterday's high and back through to 33,000 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failing to do that, and support levels will be in play. Moving across, Ethereum against US dollar, also relatively bullish start to the day. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid the pivot at 1928 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 2102. We'll need plenty of support from the broader market for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's high at 2033.16 and move back through to 2100 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of another breakout, should see Ethereum target 2250 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 2207. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1823 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of the 62% fib at 1725. Second major support level sits at 1649. Looking at the MACDs, we have a widening of the bullish histograms at the turn of the day, supporting this early upside coming off the back of yesterday's late move northwards. On the EMAs, also a bullish signal with the 50 moving away from the 100 and closing in on the 200 after yesterday's late bullish cross. So key through the early part of the day would be to avoid the pivot at 1928 and move through to 2050 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will come into play. Moving across to Litecoin against US dollar, also positive start. Going to see Litecoin avoid the pivot at 114 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 123. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Litecoin to move back through to 120s. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level resistance at 125 to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, should see Litecoin begin to target 135s before any pullback. Second major resistance levels is at 128. A fall through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 109 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid sub-100s. Second major support level at 100 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, we have a slight narrowing of the bullish histograms at the turn of the day, so we're going to be looking out for a bearish cross through the morning. On the EMAs, the 50 is narrowing in on the 100 and the 200, so a further narrowing should support further upside through the day. So keep an eye out for a possible bullish cross over the course of the day. So key would be to avoid the pivot at 114, move through to 120s to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will come into play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, also relatively positive start to the day. Going to see Ripple's XRP avoid the pivot at 5578 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 5957. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.59. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 0.60 to cap any upside. In the event of another breakout, should see Ripple's XRP target resistance at 0.63 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.6218. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 5317 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should continue to avoid sub-0.5s. Second major support level sits at 4939. Looking at the MACDs, a widening of the bullish histogram at the turn of the day. Ripple's XRP avoiding a bearish cross late yesterday, so that's positive for Ripple's XRP. Also positive is the 50 EMA narrowing on the 100 and the 200, A further narrowing would support a run at the resistance levels on the day. So key would be to avoid the pivot at 5578 and move through to 0.59 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels will come into play.